Hi, I'm Betsy Barbieux, and this is CAM Matters. Come join us today as we talk about the role of a CAM and their relationship with the board and their ability to steer and to help find solutions and offer guidance to communities for their problem solving. Join us today.
Welcome to CAM Matters, Condos, Co-ops, HOAs, and beyond. Betsy Barbieux is an informational leader in Florida on community association living, rights, and obligations. She is an expert on the rights and obligations of owners as well as the association. If you live or are planning to live in the state of Florida, there's a good chance you'll be part of a community association. And by the end of this show, you'll know a little bit more about community associations and why they matter.
Thanks so much for being here. Betsy Barbieux with Suzanne, Lynn, and today's show we're going to be talking about CAMs, the importance of them, what they do, and how we can perhaps help maximize the strategy and the benefits that having a CAM comes with. We'll talk about, first of all, what is a CAM?
I was going to say, maybe we should say, what is a CAM? Those are initials for CAM, Community Association Manager, and it's actually a license. We have to have a state of Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation license, and it's called CAM, C-A-M. And I have to put in my little dig here. People who know me know that I'm going to say this. It's not LCAM, it's CAM. There's no L.
Where does L come from?
Oh, gosh, don't get me started on that. It comes from 32 years ago when managers were first licensed.
So licensed CAM?
They put the L to mean licensed CAM. You shouldn't be using CAM if you're not licensed, so it's redundant. Drop the L. I'm on a losing mission to get the L out of there.
We're going to keep fighting until we win it.
So that's what a CAM is.
And what is the job? What do they do?
Everything.
Oh my gosh!
Well, actually,
they
I have
pretty much do.
Communicate. I have a performance review here. They have to have knowledge of management procedures and techniques, accounting procedures, personnel practices, rules and regulations of the association, inventory and procurement, contract relations, property maintenance, maintenance procedures and practices, safety hazards and practices, environmental issues, insurance, taxes, disaster preparedness, local permitting codes and regulations, human behavior, conflict resolution. Do you want to know what else that they do?
Yeah.
That's enough.
That is a lot. And then you teach on that, right?
Yes,
you give classes. That explains why you need to be licensed because, there's a lot.
Yes, it is a professional license.
And it's a good job. I mean,
it is recession-proof.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me today, why do you do what you do? Well, for one thing, I love teaching. I also like organizing things and solving problems, but it's also recession-proof. I will have a job even if the economy goes to pot.
So you can be a CAM of more than one property, right?
You can be. If you're a CAM of more than one property, you'll call yourself a portfolio manager. You have a portfolio of a business. And generally that is because you work for a management company. But there are managers who work on site as an employee of the association. They work directly for the board. If you work as a portfolio manager, you're working kind of a foot in two places. Your paycheck is coming from the management company, but your instructions, what you do, is coming from the board of directors. Can you see there might be a conflict?
And that's what the show's about.
Could be a conflict there.
So we're going to look at how CAM managers are sometimes unable to represent and be the best CAM they can be. And there's really two sides to that. There's one because they could step up themselves a little bit more, steer a little bit better, but there's also a problem with the boards not taking advice. So which one do you want to start with?
I'm going to pick on the CAMs first.
Let's pick on
the CAMs. That seems to be my thing right now that I am noticing. And I don't know how to say it without using my finger.
Use your finger.
You all need to step up.
Right.
CAMs need to be taking more, I don't want to say authority. You need to steer more in the meetings. What I'm seeing are meetings that are going way too long, horrible, horrible time management. If you can get something done in an hour, why on earth would you be there for 4 hours?
Right.
But
They
you
feel like
need-
they don't have control of it, or there's
Well,
not the confidence, or what's
I
happening?
think that managers, a lot of them don't have the skill
Okay.
to step into a meeting, but I don't know how much skill that really does take, other than to say, I think you're off track and you need to get back on your agenda item.
Okay.
I'm not
That's
sure.
not. That's
I'm not-
that's certainly encouraged, right?
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yes. You need to tell the boards when they're off track. Sometimes boards will go into conversation that goes kind of round and round, and I think you should steer that conversation to a conclusion. I think you should say, I think y'all have talked about this enough. Does somebody want to make a motion?
Okay. Would you share
know-
the most recent story you shared with me a little bit? Just generally.
It was a budget meeting, and it's one of my little orphan communities that we've recently taken. And so it's our first budget meeting with them, and they have no money.
Okay.
And they have probably, at the moment, they've got $6,000 to $8,000 worth of attorney's fees that they owe.
Okay.
And to get more money coming into the community, we've got to do a quiet title suit and some other things, so they are probably going to spend another couple of $1,000s of attorney's fees. And trying to build that into the budget of this little community was not going to make an assessment that they can pay. It's a 55 plus, it's a mobile home community. They have been paying $98 a month as their monthly assessment. If we included those attorney's fees in this year's budget, if we fully funded their reserves, if they anticipated a 20% increase in their property insurance, which is not a lot for them because they don't have but just a modular clubhouse, we were $22,000 in the hole.
Wow.
And to divide that up and add that back to their assessment was not going to work. So my manager and I put our heads together. We took a little pause in the meeting, put our heads together, and came up with a 3-part solution for them to be able to go on and move forward with the budget part, deal with the attorney's fees separately, deal with the reserves separately,
Okay.
and pass a budget and make some of those other decisions at another meeting.
You took control of the situation.
Yeah. They would have left the office with no budget approved.
So what that's showing is that CAM is not just there to be present, not just there to listen, but there to steer and guide and come up with solutions.
Advise,
Yeah.
which is what a consultant does.
Okay.
I am a CAM, and I am a consultant. People hire me just for the consulting part.
Right.
I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is the CAM understanding their role is similar to a consultant.
Sure.
You need to be steering, guiding, offering expertise, offering solutions to their problems. And in my mind, it's time management. Why would you just go round and round and round and round and round and let the board just flounder when you have an idea of something that'll work? You need to step up and interject those ideas, those solutions. This is what a consultant would do. A consultant would say, well, this looks like what you need. A consultant is objective. The CAMs that I know that are good and participatory and involved and care, they're objective. It's amazing how much heart CAMs have for their communities. And boards don't know it. We're for you. We are not against you.
And we're going to get to that. I want to talk about maybe how the boards can help empower the CAM. But before we do, as I'm trying to think, why would a CAM not speak up? Is there some, it's got to be overwhelming to sit and see all these homeowners and feel like it's you against all of them. Is that part of it, do you think? Or what is the problem?
I'm thinking mostly just board meetings. So if owners are there, they're only in an observing capacity.
Right.
And remember back a year or two ago
that it's not supposed to be.
It's not for the owners, and the board
but
needs to be
still,
sitting.
There's eyes looking at you. There's that. No.
It doesn't bother me.
Right.
Now, it might bother other people,
Okay.
but it doesn't bother me.
In other words, it shouldn't bother the
no,
CAM.
no,
Right.
no.
Okay.
And if you're sitting in a circle, sit with your back to them.
Right. Right.
I sit with my back.
Empower yourself. Find ways that you're going to be able to empower yourself.
But the other thing, I'm coaching and mentoring the CAMs in my office right now. I don't know how much coaching and mentoring goes on in other companies. And what the result is what we're seeing when we're taking on new communities that have had professional management.
Yeah.
The records are wrong. They're incomplete. The back office didn't know what the CAM was doing. CAM didn't know what the back office was doing. There's no one person to communicate with. But the papers, just the paperwork that I see, it's wrong. The meeting notices are wrong, the agendas are wrong, the minutes are wrong, and we just did a whole show on minutes.
Right.
Minutes are wrong. They're going to end up in court if you don't
Right.
do some other stuff right. But I think education and mentoring, management companies, for the most part, only know one that has an actual real training program. But the mentoring, I don't know if it's just because I'm an educator, trainer, facilitator, consultant kind of person, but I don't know how you can have people working in your office and you let them flounder around and do things wrong. That there's not this. There are some management companies that I know of that the culture is all silos, and the managers won't help each other. It's not like they're competing for the same dollars or something.
Right.
I don't understand not helping other CAMs. The other thing I don't understand is why on earth do you not get yourself to continuing ed class in person? And that sounds self-serving since I have in-person training classes, but it's real easy to go through that little telephone book course that everybody gets in the mail once a year that it takes about 10 minutes to do 20 hours of continuing ed or 15 hours of continuing ed. But you aren't going to learn how to do some of the things I'm suggesting you do if you aren't around other CAMs and are broadening your education base, your experiential base, your networking.
Well, just looking at what they do, what a CAM does, you're asking them to use multiple sides of their brain. I mean, they need to be administrative and they need to be leading and a little bit more assertive, yet
they
know
need
when
to be
You're asking a
leaders.
lot. So
These
no
are
wonder they need
professional
training.
executives.
Yeah.
CAMs are professionals. They're executives.
Yeah.
They need leadership skills. They need problem-solving skills. They need communication skills. They need to think strategically. The things that CAMs have to do, you have to plan 2 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, a year, 5 years. You have to plan out. You can't just, like those little calendar pages that you used to have that were one day at a time. You can't just
You're not
turn
a robot, right?
You can't just turn or look at your phone for today. You've got to be looking months and a year or 2 or 3 or 5 years ahead.
Thinking and strategizing.
You have to think strategically.
Okay, we're going to take a break here, and we're going to jump to the other side now and talk about how board members can help empower the CAM and give them a little bit more space to do their job better. We'll be right back.
Are you ready for a new career? Do you have skills or interest in management, real estate, construction, maintenance, accounting, strategic planning, project management, budgets, human resource management, lawn and landscaping, pool services, or any other expertise needed to operate a community association? If you do, community association management could be for you. For more information, feel free to email Betsy at betsy@floridacamschools.com or visit the Florida Cam Schools website at www.floridacamschools.com. Florida Community Association Management continues to grow. Career opportunities abound.
Okay, well, thanks for coming back. Suzanne, Lynn with Betsy Barbieux, and we're talking about the importance of CAM, and we discussed a little bit about what might be holding the CAM manager back themselves, but maybe there's some help that the board members can do to create an atmosphere and encourage the CAM to be more strategic and maximize their role.
Or attitude.
Attitude.
Maybe
That's a good one.
Maybe attitude.
So before we start, just tell me, how do boards perhaps prohibit the CAM from being the best CAM they can be?
Once upon a time, it was a while back, and I haven't heard it since, and I'm hoping it doesn't ever happen anymore. But I had a CAM tell me that they never went to the board meetings, that the board members would not let them attend. and I just was kind of paralyzed at that, because I'm thinking, well, how? But the manager is kind of like the hub on a wheel.
Yeah.
They're like the central clearinghouse brain, as in computer.
They need to know what's going on.
The manager has all the information. How you have a board meeting without the manager's information, I don't know how you have a board meeting. And then at our, just the little boards that I have, I always leave that meeting with a to-do list. I don't know how you get your to-do list if you weren't at the meeting.
Right.
So, first of all, your CAM needs to be present at the meeting.
Right.
Second of all, your CAM does need to help you steer your meeting. And for those of you board presidents who are reluctant, you can turn the chair over to your CAM. The CAM should be able, CAMs, you should be able to chair that meeting.
Okay.
I cheer, steer and cheer together. I chair probably most of our board meetings.
Okay.
And I chair several of the membership meetings because I have a reluctant president.
It makes a lot of sense.
I don't know. Boards need to let the managers participate. They need to be sitting at the table with you. Mm-hmm. I have some that they don't let them sit at the table. Well, I think the CAM needs to be a participating member of that board meeting.
Sure.
So I think you should sit at the table. I think you do have the information. When boards hire a manager, it's as if you've hired a consultant. If you've hired a consultant in any other kind of business, you invite them to the table. Mm-hmm. You solicit their advice. You look to them for guidance. You let them gently correct you, steer you in the right direction. Mm-hmm. They offer other solutions to problems that you have that the board might not be focused on. Hopefully a CAM can bring a broader solution to the issue. Most CAMs that I know, at least the ones I know, they are for you. They are not against you.
Right.
And quite frankly, that's just because it makes our job easier.
Right.
It makes our job easier. And we want things to go well. We want things to go smoothly.
Yeah.
We don't want to see property deteriorate. We don't want to see prices increase. We don't want to see fees increase any more than you do. But the main goal is to protect the property, maintain the things that are used in common, and enforce the governing restrictions.
So, they're not your enemy.
Yeah,
they're your friends.
No, CAMs are not your enemy, and most CAMs don't have any reason to have a personal agenda. Board members do.
Sure.
Board members do.
Sure.
I've got several. I want better landscaping, so I'm going to get on the board. So better landscaping.
Right.
But the landscaping only was around their house.
Right. That's all we want fixed. Yeah. So you're saying boards, let the CAMs do their job, help empower them, give them space, and listen to them and take their advice.
Well, yes. Yeah. And on the other hand, CAMs, you need to step up and steer. You need to give that advice. Is it going to be rejected? Maybe so, but that's not the point. In the business world, you throw all ideas on the table and see what sticks and what works. The CAM is a vital part of providing that information for problem solving. CAMs that network have even more ability to problem solve because there's not a problem that's been had that hadn't been had before.
Right.
And if you have a big enough network base, you can pick up the phone, call another CAM, email them, and say, how did you solve this problem?
Yeah.
So the boards need to let the CAMs do their job. You need to respect the opinion of your CAM. And boards, I hear too often that board members get on the board to get rid of the CAM.
Ooh,
Well, if you only knew that they really...
they're tossing the coach off the team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, and leaving it up to the players to run.
This is a person who knows your property inside and out.
Yeah.
They have no personal agenda other than, I want to make this go as smoothly as possible.
Right.
And so they usually try to get along, usually have good communication skills. And, yes, there are some managers that are better than others. And there's some that are worse than others. And that's the front end of this show was, CAMs, you need to step up. You need to educate yourself more. You need to get a mentor, or you need to get a coach or somebody to help you learn your job better. Management companies, you need to step up and you need to provide that training and that coaching and mentoring for your CAMs. But on the other side, boards, you've hired a professional. You need to let them do their job. And you need to seek their guidance, seek their expertise, depend on them. They're the clearinghouse for all the information. Everything should feed into the manager's office. And if they're not doing their job, then that's another issue.
Right. I can't think of a better way to wrap up the show. You just did a fantastic recap of the whole thing, so thank you so much. We want you to subscribe to the show, like, and share it. That's what's most important. Betsy does these shows because she's the expert in Florida, but she also, it's really just important getting the information out.
Just get the information out.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost you anything to share the video.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to CAM Matters. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. For more information, feel free to email Betsy at betsy@floridacamschools.com or visit the Florida Cam Schools website at www.floridacamschools.com. Information provided on this show is general in nature and does not constitute legal advice. Please contact a licensed attorney for your specific situation.